everyone, it's Amy here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to share with you guys my review and swatches of one of the new Anastasia Beverly Hills glow kits that released last week. And this one is the Moonchild glow kit. I wanted to go ahead and review the most unique one first, since this one's a little bit different in formula and a little bit different as far as what the actual palette looks like compared to the other glow kits. And I think this is the one that people are the most excited about. So this is the Moonchild glow kit. It's got a beautiful like blue ombre effect with some duochrome kind of like holographic lettering, if you can see how it reflects like rainbow and stuff like that. That is very much like what the palette is like. So this did release last Thursday, and I paid for extra fast shipping. That way I could get it ASAP. That way if you hadn't gone ahead and ordered it, you can see the swatches and decide for yourself if you want to go ahead and pick up this palette, because it is currently still in stock on the Anastasia Beverly Hills website. That is the only place that I've seen or even like heard that it's going to be sold at right now. I would imagine eventually it will be at Sephora and Ulta like the other glow kits. However, this one is only available on her website at the moment, and it does retail for $40. So the packaging, as far as it just having a palette that slides out, is the same. Now you do get six, I want to say eyeshadows for some reason, 6 highlighters in here. Now they are smaller than the 4-pan palette glow kits that we're used to. They are a total of 4.2 grams each, whereas these are 7.4 grams. Generally, like for $40, you're getting still a really good amount of product. It's still going to take you forever to get through all of these highlighters, or as using them as eyeshadows, it will take a really long time. So here's what the palette looks like. It's just so pretty, and what's really interesting about this is that this Moonchild palette, you see how it's got those like rainbow effects and duochrome? That is exactly how these pans or eyeshadows, highlighters, whatever you want to use it are. They look like one thing in the pan, and then when you swatch them and apply them, they magically turn into something different, which is really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and read each of the shades off the Anastasia Beverly Hills website so that I can tell you what each of these colors is described as, and then I will go ahead and swatch them for you at the same exact time. So it says magically metallic highlighters that offer a celestial skin finish. Layer shades of Anastasia Beverly Hills glow kit together or sweep them separately on the face, eyes, and body for a kaleidoscope shimmering effect. That is so true. Kaleidoscope is like an awesome way to describe it. Ideal for use with brush number 23, which you guys know my dupe for that brush is definitely this Up and Up brush from Target. You guys ask me all the time. You can get it in a set of 4. I believe it's called the complexion set at Target for around $12 or $13. And this is the one in it that I think is amazing for highlighters and totally a dupe for this Anastasia number 23 brush. And it says for a brightly amplified glow, apply with a damp makeup brush or a sponge. Now, I tried it with the sponge. It looks nice. It actually diffuses it a little bit more. But using anything wet with it, whether it be makeup spray or water, does amplify the pigmentation. But I think it kind of spreads it out more. So I actually really like it with the brush, but you can use it with a damp sponge and make them really metallic. So the first shade we have right here is called Blue Ice. This one is described as a white with an icy blue effect. Now, when you look at it, it looks pretty darn white, but I promise you when I swatch this, it's going to be blue. It's pretty cool. You see how that has like a very blue effect to it? It's not just like a white shimmer with a little bit of like a blue shift to it. It's like very blue when you apply it. Really pretty. So then the next one is called Star, right in the middle, and this is silver. It's a moonstone fusion of mint, platinum, and silver reflect. And I think this one is the one that applies the most true. Like, it looks silver on my finger, it looks silver in the pan, and then it is silver right here. So the next one is called Purple Horseshoe, and this one is described as a glittering lavender with an Arctic blue reflect. And this one is such a pretty lavender shade. So here is what it looks like right there. So moving down in the palette, we have Pink Heart, another one that looks white at first, but I promise you, when you swatch it and apply it, it comes off so pink. So this one is Pink Heart, a pearl white with a pink opal reflect. So here is what that one looks like. See how pink it is? Isn't that crazy that it came from here? Like, look at that. So the next one is called Lucky Clover. Now this one is probably the coolest one in the palette. This one is Lucky Clover. It's a shamrock infused gold with canary yellow diamond reflect. Like, God, that description itself sounds amazing. So here's what it looks like. It doesn't look like that green in the swatch, but look how green it is on the actual application and the swatch. Like, oh my gosh. Now the last one is called Blue Moon, which is a frozen blue with a silver reflect. And this is another one that comes off very, very blue. And to me, it's got like a little bit of a purple shift to it as well. So here is that one called Blue Moon. Now, as far as actually wearing them, I tried them as highlighters and they are really, really pretty. But if you go in with like a normal brush and a normal application where you just go whoop with the highlight, like you are going to get this crazy, unnatural looking highlight. And I don't want to say unnatural in a bad way. To me, this palette is just very theatrical. Like it's very artsy and theatrical. It's not like your everyday palette. Definitely not highlighters you're going to be wearing to work, like if you work in a professional environment like I do, where you wear business casual and things like that. I'm not going to be wearing like a green highlighter during the work week. Now, I will say if you want to make it a little bit more wearable and a little bit more natural, not like wham bam, like green highlighter, blue highlighter on your face, you take your brush, you apply it like you normally would, and then you really, really, really buff it in. The only bad thing about this technique is I do find that it spreads your highlighter out a little bit more than you normally would, where you kind of want a line like right how I have, but it's diffused a little. I think it gets a little bit all over the place and not quite as concentrated, but you really have to buff it in order for it to look more natural and not someone to be like, do you have like a green streak across your face? Like it's kind of like, oh, look at that. Oh, that's a unique highlighter. Did I see some green? Like when you really diffuse it and buff it into the skin, that's that reaction you're going to get, which is what I think you want. Unless you're going for like a really theatrical, unique look that day. But I definitely don't think this is an everyday palette, but I do think it's gorgeous. Now I also did wear these shades on my eyelids as eyeshadows, and they do apply really well. I didn't have any creasing. They performed amazing when you use a setting spray with it. I use some MAC Fix Plus. It makes them even more foiled and gorgeous. And so overall, I think the palette is really, really nice. Now, as far as the formula, I don't think it's the same exact formula as the original Glow Kits, the 4 pans. I do think they're really, really nice, but when I swatch them, I don't think they're quite as opaque, and they don't feel as heavy and thick. The best way I can describe it, if you guys are familiar with Makeup Geek eyeshadows, I feel like the Moonchild palette feels more like Makeup Geek Duochrome, where they're very, very finely milled. They're very smooth to the point where it feels like your fingers kind of like gliding off it, and they're just really, really air light. Like they feel like there's nothing on your finger. Now I find that the original Glow Kits, the 4 pans, those feel like Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadows, where they're very thick and luxurious, and they've got kind of a weight and a density to them. And so these feel really light, whereas the other ones feel more dense and thick. And that's why I think the formula feels a little different. I do think maybe they did that because they're so intense and crazy colors. They didn't want to make them as like thick and pigmented. They are still really pigmented, but I don't think they're quite as opaque in pigment as the original Glow Kit. So maybe they did that because they didn't want the crazy colors to be like super duper intense. They wanted them to be a little bit more wearable. I'm not sure, but the formula is still really great. Now, I was like really struggling with this because I haven't quite decided if I want to keep this palette. I do think it's gorgeous. I think the quality is amazing, but it's not an everyday palette. Like this is not something I can wear. It's $40. I probably won't wear them as eyeshadows just because I do have a ton of Makeup Geek Duochrome eyeshadows that like I don't need a whole nother palette. It's going to take me a really long time to go through this. Out of all the Glow Kits, I'm going to reach for my original 3 ones before I reach for this, just because it's not every day. So I may not keep this palette from the sheer fact that it's not really my style. Like I played with it, and no matter what I did, it looked really pretty on the skin, but I'm not going to wear a green highlight and a purple highlight and a blue highlight all that often. When I did buy it online, these look very, very like white and pearly. They all kind of looked like a highlighter that I normally would wear, and then you get them and then you realize they're these like crazy effects underneath them, like blue and pink, and like this green is really cool on the eyelid though. But that's just not something I would wear on a normal basis, and I just don't know if $40 is really worth it to me because I buy all these products with my hard-earned money. Unfortunately, none of this stuff is sent to me. I'm not on PR lists and things like that, and so if a product like this is something that I feel like it's probably going to get, you know, in the back of a drawer and not used all that often, to me $40 may not be worth it when I've already got 3 other glow kits that I like better, that I know I'm gonna reach for more. So unfortunately, I just don't think it's really my style, and it's not gonna get used enough, and it's not gonna get loved enough to be worth it when I could, I mean, you guys know I'm an accountant, like I could use the money to save for retirement, I could use the money to save for a house, or I could buy other makeup that I really, really enjoy. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep this or not. I'm leaning towards not, just because I don't think it's gonna get enough love. But if you guys are wondering, like, okay, is the quality there? Is it amazing? Should I get it? Yes, I think it's still great. Not as great, or at least I prefer the original glow kit formula better, but I still think this is really good. I think it's pigmented. I think it's so unique and cool, and just something really awesome to have if you're interested in it, if you think you'll use the palette. If you like the colors, then I would go ahead and get it. I do recommend it. I think it's a great palette. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review and the swatches and found it helpful to see what it actually looks like kind of in person, and the swatches, because to me it's very different than how it appears online, but definitely a unique and cool palette. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you can stay tuned to all my upcoming videos, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!